Investigators discover a teenage girl beaten and strangled to death. Police begin a round-the-clock manhunt for 21-year-old Michael Baldwin. The next day, he is discovered hiding out. Michael is brought in with scratches all over his body.
Michael actually had his body turned slightly away from me when I first started talking to him. He had his arms in front of him. That's indicative of somebody who's not going to openly share with you.
At what point does it get physical?
It pulls away and it just cracks your head.
This video contains the interrogation of a man who brutally murdered a teenage girl. 15-year-old Amanda Hansen was bright and cheerful, so much so that her friends gave her the nickname Sparkles. She had a kind heart for those less fortunate and was always doing what she could to make their lives better. Like many teens, however, Hansen found herself involved with a rough crowd, and through them, she met 21-year-old Michael Baldwin. Baldwin had an unsavory history with teenage girls, and Hansen became his latest target. They were in a relationship for several months, and no one is quite sure why he chose to end things so violently. On August 19, 2002, Hansen and Baldwin were walking on a small local trail when he began to strangle her. He then picked up a large rock and beat her head in with numerous blows. After several more acts on her body, he went back to his friends and told them that he had killed Hansen.
Why don't we come in here, we can sit down and talk and get some coffee. Yeah. Have a seat, Mike.
We just hit some of that ourselves. Long drive.
Oh, yeah.
You don't realize how long it is until you
drive it. Or riding it.
When
Would
you're
you
hitchhiking it.
That's what you did to get down here? Hitchhike all the way, or did you have to walk some?
I had to walk a few, actually. That sucks.
Well, we'll wait until they get your coffee here until I'm gathering you probably have an idea what we want to talk to you about and all that stuff. We do appreciate you sitting down and talking with us much. There is the little thing about since these guys picked you up and you're in custody and all that, that even to sit down and talk to us at all, even if we're, whatever we end up talking about, even if it's just getting your side of the story or whatever, we do have to advise you your rights. I'm guessing that you've heard it before, but it's the same deal. The right to remain silent, anything you say will be used against you. The right to have an attorney present if you can't afford one was pointed to you. Same exact ones you probably heard before. Do you understand those? Okay. You mind speaking with us? Okay, great. Hungry? I'm starving too.
Like 4 days now.
It hasn't been that long for me. I hit a couple of chocolate chip cookies on my way down, but
Yeah, you did.
so. They treat you all right here? No.
All as best can be expected for a victim murderer.
Baldwin immediately admitted to being a murderer, meaning the detective might be able to get all of the information he needs without having to fight for a confession.
That's what you would think.
Every place is a little different. You never know how people are gonna respond and stuff like that. And it seems like they got a nice facility. I've heard horror stories from some small town areas and stuff like that. So it's, I don't even think they have bars at CJC.
No, it's just big. Do they have bars and stuff here, or is it big wards?
It's more or less like, well, I haven't been up to the bar areas yet. I'm still on holding cell. I've been sleeping a little bit, and it feels real good to sleep.
Yeah. We'll try to knock this out pretty quick, because I don't think Ken or I are opposed to sleeping a little ourselves in this part, so we might be able to accommodate that. They got bunks here or sled beds, or what are they doing?
It's like a concrete thing in the holding cell right now.
That blows. I I can sleep anywhere after being in the service for a while. I just got used to it. But
So supposedly, what was the girl's name?
what's that?
So what was the girl's name supposedly?
Sparkles was her nickname. Amanda was her.
Hansen was called Sparkles by her friends because of her sparkling personality and the glittery makeup she loved to wear.
Full name. And Mandy's what everybody called her. Depending on who. Sparkle, or Mandy. It's kind of what she went by. We're going to jump right into this, I guess. I mean, we kind of have, I guess, a general understanding of everybody else's side of the story, but the problem with these things is that usually there's a lot of different sides to the story, and usually they kind of meet somewhere in the middle for a,
I was attacked.
well, run me through it.
She led me into this really screwed up ambush because I used to be a Nazi.
Baldwin makes a strange accusation against Hansen. A friend who saw her that day says that Hansen told her that she was helping Baldwin to find another girl who had made accusations against him. So his story of her leading him into a trap cannot be true.
I used to be like this hardcore, like skinhead Nazi type guy, and I managed to make pretty prominent enemies with the Nazis in Colorado Springs. You know, the ones that hang out at Vacation Park and run the drugs out of there.
Right. Sure.
I told them all to go shove whatever racism they had up their assholes. And he managed to actually try to attack one of them too because he had made a comment to me about my girlfriend I was going out with at the time. She wasn't white. So I managed to try to attack him.
Right.
Ever since then, he's been trying to get back at me. She's from the park, from what I hear.
From where?
She's a park kid, from what I know of. And she wanted to go take a walk. And so took a walk, went up there. We were just chilling out. I was attacked. She also attacked me with them.
Okay.
Now, from what I know,
I mean, how many guys are we talking here?
probably talking about 10.
What are they attacking you with? Just,
Well, one had an ice pick, one had a Bowie knife, and the rest of them just had like rocks. Distance.
So how's the fight go? I mean, run me through it.
As you can tell, it didn't turn out too well for me.
Okay.
And when she was attacking me, I didn't know who was who. And from what I remember, she still had her clothes on after I left. Because Ralph was one of them. Probably heard of him.
Ralph who?
Ralph, I don't know his last name, but he's he's really tall, bald, has a black mustache,
Hangs out at Acacia or? Okay.
has a big old swastika on his chest.
Is he pretty well known?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got him a couple of times with the knife. He ran off before. And I don't know, all I remember is that blackout bit. And when I come back to, she's kind of like laying on the ground, not breathing. So I run.
Okay.
So I don't know, it was a self-defense on my part.
So let's just walk through the where you guys. How do you meet up with Mandy earlier in the day? I mean, what's your relationship with Mandy?
I thought she was one of my good friends.
Okay. How long have you known her?
About a month and a half.
About a month.
Month and a half.
Okay. How'd you guys meet?
Case Park.
Hanging out. Okay. Were you guys dating? I mean, what was the? Okay.
She's 15, man. I'm 21.
Okay. Well, actually, that's not even a. It's not a crime or anything. So I mean, that's like a legal age group thing. So that's.
Not from what I heard. I heard that it has to be like 4 years.
Not once they're 15.
That's what's.
So, anyway,
Okay.
so you know Mandy. How do you meet up with her that day?
A bunch of my friends find her at the park and bring her up to me.
Which friends?
Well, supposedly the ones that are telling you all this shit about me at the motel.
Okay. Who do you think that might be?
Dandy, Alicia, Eric, Dandy's sisters.
Okay. So they're supposed to meet up with her early in the day. Where do you all?
They're not in a meeting. They just go look for someone and find them and pick them up.
Well, they're hanging out at least earlier in the day. Where do you link up with them at?
At my house.
Where's that, at the Millwell?
At the Millwell.
Okay. You link up. What time do you think we're talking?
Probably around 4.
Okay. You guys are just hanging out, goofing off. How's the subject of the walk come up?
Lots of alcohol.
Okay. So drinking, partying a little
All
bit,
this
having a good time.
drinking, and she
Okay.
wants to go for a walk.
Okay. How far away did you walk?
Just right up the steps.
Okay. On that little trail right across from the mill.
And we sat on some rocks up there, and boom.
Where do these guys come out of?
Behind the rocks up on the hill, dude. It's really weird.
Okay.
Because I was sitting like right below them, and like she was like right in front of me, and we were kissing, and they just come jumping down. The only thing with me is I don't know how the hell, because Danny told me that she didn't have her clothes on, and that she was pretty battered, pretty much more battered than from what I remember.
Well, that's why we got to run through this. I mean, that's why we got to figure out the whole,
Well, I left them. Well, I know that Ralph got pretty hurt. I was going after
what kind of
Ralph
knife
all the
did
time.
you defend yourself with?
Oh, I took it out of his hand.
Okay. What did it look like? What would you say?
Black bladed carbon steel Bowie knife.
Okay. So standard, like maybe 12 inches long, maybe?
Blades that long.
Okay.
Kind of long.
What was the handle
Handle
made of?
wrapped in it was wrapped in leather. Like in one more you can get in an army surplus store.
Okay. So this Ralph guy attacks you with this knife. How's he hold it? How's he holding it?
He's down.
So like this, kind of, he's doing
He's kind of
this.
like doing this whole thing, punching with it and
Okay.
slice.
So how many times does he get you with the knife?
So yeah, you count.
And then we'll take photos and everything. Don't worry, we'll document all that. How do you eventually get the knife away from him?
Kick him in his balls,
Okay. And he responds by,
falling to his knees.
and then you.
Take the knife and just start wailing with him.
What are the other 9 guys doing at this point?
Still trying to get on me. That's how I'm trying to get away from all this.
Okay.
She's the first one I smacked though, just to get her away from me.
Okay.
So she's just like right there in front of me.
Where do you first smack her? Okay. Do you have the knife at this point, or do you just punch her?
Punch her pretty hard.
Okay. How's she respond?
She responds by falling down.
Okay. Walk me through it. I mean, give me an idea how this all occurs. She falls down. Ralph's still standing. Ralph has a knife.
And a bunch of his boys are hitting me. I'm picking up rocks, left and right, throwing them at them, trying to get to Ralph still.
Okay.
And about it. It was like I said, I go after Ralph, get the knife from him, start cutting him, so he starts running, and then I turn on the other guys, and I start just swinging madly.
Okay.
And whoever I hit, I might have hit, but I don't.
Where do you think you stabbed Mandy?
Mandy? I don't remember stabbing Mandy.
Okay. Slugging her. I mean,
Kicking.
you remember that she attacks you. So try to. I mean, I know it's harder. I know some of this might even be difficult. I know it might be sad, upsetting, frustrating. A whole
I
gamut
was
of
drunk this whole
emotions.
time.
And that's understandable, especially when somebody's under alcohol. A lot of times, people do things. Alcohol causes reactions on all sides.
During the incident, Baldwin had beer, whiskey, and a high amount of Xanax in his system. I just released another extremely intense interrogation on my Patreon, this time about a son of a millionaire being interrogated for the death of his father. His trial was the longest and most expensive trial in the history of St. John. Watch it right now at patreon.com/Stranger Stories Plus.
That you normally wouldn't do. It's not that you're doing that, it's the alcohol's doing it. Everybody, I mean, that's scientific. People know that. I mean, people recognize that alcohol has that effect, especially in large quantity. That's why we drink alcohol, is that it alters our mental state, and that causes things to happen that sometimes are a little regretful, sometimes they're out of character, for Mandy included, maybe. You know, she's been consuming alcohol too. Maybe she did some things that were out of character for her, like attacking you, for instance. You're sitting there, you're also hitting the bottle a little bit, and you respond in kind. That's totally understandable. People understand that. But see, I didn't, for one, know about the alcohol, so that's one of the things that's important. That's an important filler to the story. Kind of explains some things to us. So, you know, that's why we're here to talk to you. So Mandy attacks you. She hits you with what? A right fist, left fist. I mean, try to close your eyes, think about it if you have to, and just kind of run me through. I need a
Like fists and claws.
okay. When you say claws, do you mean she's using her nails to scratch you and such? Okay, where's she hitting you with it?
It's like
Okay.
scratching me here a little bit on the side over here.
Okay. And how do you get her back? Okay.
When you're drunk, you have a lot of strength.
Absolutely. I mean, that's also, again, I'm not going to disagree with that. I mean, I've seen guys, we've both worked the road, and I know for a fact I've seen guys have a couple beers in them, just do stuff that takes 10 cops to get them into custody. It's not that they meant to do that. It's just, that's the way it goes. So you push her down, she falls down hard. Does she get back up right away, or what's her response to that?
It lays there for a minute. It's like, because she banged her head on a rock. Back of her head's all banged up, I think.
Okay. Can you see blood at this point in time? I mean, is there some blood in the back of her head? Okay. Next step, Mandy's down, blood out of the back of her head. What happens next?
This other kid named James comes after me. It's kind of like, just kind of like pistol whip him with a knife.
Okay. At some point in time, you end up having to, do you ever end up having to use the knife on Mandy, or is it just the rocks and punching and kicking on Mandy?
It's punching, kicking, and rocks.
Okay. At what point in time does she stay down for good to where you don't feel like she's a threat anymore?
Like, when everybody's running away.
Okay. And everybody leaves and you're left there with Mandy. Okay.
And I leave.
Okay. Describe the condition that Mandy's in to me.
Not too good.
At this point. I understand that. And I know that, you may feel like, even if you were defending yourself, that this might be a situation where you made a little bit of a mistake, or you acted out of character, or, some
Her face
split-second
is pretty
decisions.
bloody.
Okay.
Her face, her back of her head. She's just like laying there.
On her side, on her back, on her stomach?
On her back, kind of like on her back and her side.
Which side do you think?
Left.
Okay. So kind of this side's down towards the ground. Okay.
I just like run away. I don't even check to see if she's dead or not, dude. I just look at her and I'm like, fuck. She might have still been alive.
Okay.
But I don't, like I said, I don't know how the hell that she lost her clothes, dude.
Okay. Well, I have an idea, and let me preface this by saying that I find a lot of times when I'm talking to people that, especially when things are painful or alcohol's involved, and sometimes things are a
I
little
remember
fuzzy.
everything when I'm drunk. There's nothing I won't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying generalizing. I'm generalizing that with some people that occurs. Alcohol kind of frees our emotions, allows things to happen. I I was picturing a scenario, and I'm not saying that what you told me wasn't 100% truth. I'm saying that sometimes truth comes in steps, and that our memory improves sometimes as we close our eyes, especially with painful memories, things like that. But I heard that Mandy was fond of you. To minimize that, I heard that she liked you, was attracted to you in a boyfriend sort of way. Not that you guys were girlfriend, boyfriend, but I heard she was attracted to you.
The detective is trying to get Baldwin to admit that there was more to the relationship between himself and Hansen, starting by at least acknowledging the possibility that Hansen had a crush.
Told several people she was. We've contacted people that know Mandy, were friends with her, and she had spoken of you in a fond manner, that she was attracted to you. So I figured, I'm sitting here thinking now, I was trying to figure out the clothes thing, but I'm thinking now maybe I can picture a situation where two people, they're sitting in a nice area, the woods, it's pretty. Manitou's a nice area. It's, some might say even a little romantic. We've been partying a little bit. I've got the booze flowing, a little bit of kissing. She's coming on to you. I'm not saying you removed her clothes, but I can certainly, I've known more than one woman to take her clothes off after she's had a couple of drinks, and it's certainly one way to try to win the attractions of a person maybe in the back of your mind you're a little nervous that she's a little bit young for you, or something, and you're like, nah, she's pushing herself onto you. And that's definitely a move some women, and you're a little embarrassed to admit that because you feel it would be harder to explain that she lured you up there to, and she's using all this stuff before you're attacked. And I would understand that. But if that's the case, that's something that we need to get out in the open because, well, I mean, are we dealing with a situation where you guys were going a little bit hot and heavy then before these guys came out? I mean, no disrespect, but
we were kissing.
Okay, well,
But there was still her clothes on.
I'm not talking about kissing. You and I are both men,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. And I can tell you right now that our concern isn't whether you were boning a 15-year-old. If she was 14 and you were 21, you'd have a problem. She was 15, so you have to be 10 years older than her at that point in time for it to be a crime in Colorado.
Hansen had only recently celebrated her 15th birthday and had been 14 when her relationship with Baldwin began.
And even then, it's only a misdemeanor, like friggin' jaywalking. So I got to tell you, I wouldn't drive 8 hours for a guy that had sex with a 15-year-old while he was 21. It's just not an important issue. It appears as you guys have had some sort of contact.
We see each other every now and then.
Okay. I was referring to, it appears a preliminary results, if I understand them correctly, indicate that there's the presence of some possible DNA. It looks like that could be your DNA. We got it. I just want a clear picture that explains, when we have a situation, what we try to do is take all what we call physical evidence.
We weren't doing anything up there.
Okay.
At the house. We did something.
Okay, tell me about that so that,
We wanted to go talk and went to the bathroom and we did stuff.
what stuff?
Had sex.
Okay, what kind of sex?
What do you mean? What kind of sex? What kind of
there's-
sex is there to have?
Well, there's blowjobs, there's anal sex, there's
Yeah.
vaginal sex, there's doggy style sex,
Yeah,
there's
There's only 3 types of sex. There's oral, there's anal, and there's vaginal.
okay. What kind of sex did you have? All 3?
No, oral, vaginal.
Did you use condom?
No.
Okay.
We didn't go all the way. So I didn't do it. I was too drunk to do it.
Okay.
Like,
So you're saying you didn't totally come? Okay. Did you pull out before you came and just come on her? Or
I didn't come at all.
didn't come at all? Okay.
I was drunk, man.
I know the deal. Been there, done that. So does that cause? I mean, you just wait for the cooling off period? Do you lay off the booze, and what's the deal? I mean, what happens after that?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm trying to understand I can sense that you're tensing up or whatever. You got to understand that what happens is, or our role in this is, we get a case. You understand what we're dispatched to. There's this girl in the woods and that she's been injured. So that's where we start. We start with only that. We have zero information. We build up our physical evidence first. We kind of look and see what the picture of the scene tells us. You know what I mean? And try to collect those things that give us an idea of the different things that could have occurred. But we don't have a clear understanding. And then we start speaking to people. But people can be sometimes reliable, sometimes more, sometimes less, because everybody has sides of the story, you know. And so in a situation where we can't interview both you and Mandy, we're going to have to depend on your word for everything that occurred that night. I mean, you're the one with the best recollection of it because you're the one that spent the time with Mandy. And I mean, we have to come to you for that. We depend on you for that. We're not trying to back you into a corner or anything. You have the pieces to our puzzle. I mean, you're a smart guy, you know that.
Like I said, she led me into an ambush that I don't accept betrayal very well.
Okay.
I don't accept people betraying my trust.
Okay. So,
And from all I remember, she was basically just like them, trying to attack me. And all I was doing was keeping my fists up.
Such a rapid shift between Hansen's attitude and actions can't be explained away by alcohol. There is more to the story that Baldwin is hiding.
so you feel like she's kind of a backstabber? Okay. What do you think? Well, I mean, if she did, if that's the case, I mean, then, even in America, for treason, the penalties are pretty stiff, but we got to still have a clear understanding of everything that occurred so that we can determine that that's the case. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So for us, that includes that whole evening. It's not just that few moments where Mandy's.
You gotta remember, I was only with Mandy for about an hour the whole time. That was the whole time we were together.
Okay.
Because she came over and it was like an hour for us to be hanging out and then we headed up there. That was about it. There was no whole evening. There was no me seeing her at all.
How long do you think the fight took with the guys and stuff?
Probably like 30 minutes. That's about it.
So
I'm kind of confused, and I have some questions for you. It may seem dumb, but here's where I'm coming from. I came in on this case late, kind of off the cuff. They said, "Eric, we need some help, do some work on it." So that's what I'm doing. So some of the people I interviewed were kind of the outside periphery people. I just want to throw some names at you because I'm not sure where some of these people fit in. I know that the apartment over there was kind of a party place and people were in and out, but I'm kind of confused on where people fit in. The way I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eric and Alicia are boyfriend, girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Dandy lives at the apartment there, and a girl who's Stephanie.
That's her sister lives there too.
Okay, and they don't share the same apartment though. Is that correct?
Yes, they do.
They share. Do you remember which number?
7.
Okay, and another name that came up that I'm confused about is Nature Girl or codename Nature Girl.
Fuck her, dude.
What? How does she fit in?
She's a 15-year-old girl that I went out with. Under the influence, I thought she was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She tried to have sex with me, but again, I was too drunk to fuck. I just said, "Go screw yourself. I'm gonna go to the bar."
This is the girl that Hansen was trying to help Baldwin find.
Now, this is that night, or is this?
No, this
before
is lots of bullshit happening over the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes and tells the cops that I raped her.
Uh-huh.
And my friends know good damn well that I didn't rape her.
Okay. Because the friends, and that's the story that I'm getting, is that the friends were getting together and they were going to put a hurt on this girl for lying on you. Is that correct? Okay. Who was involved in that?
All the chicks.
Okay.
who's the chicks?
The ones who were underage. All I know is I think Alicia was going to be a part of it. And I think I think that's the reason they went and got Mandy.
Because the way I understand it, Mandy was kind of be the one that was going to kick her ass. That's what I'm getting from talking to these other people.
Me too.
I mean, is that wrong, right? Or you don't
They
know?
said that. They said something like that.
Okay. So they,
And I told them, no, they're not going to do anything.
right. Okay. So
So
from what I understand, and confirm for me what you can, because I talked to Eric today and he was kind of confusing to me because his story was real fucked up. He's saying something about a Carl's Jr. They meet up at Carl's Jr. and they get all these people together and they're gonna go find this nature girl and beat her ass. And from what I understand, Nature Girl hangs out in Manitou somewhere in that area, so that's what gets everybody to Danny's apartment. Does that sound about right? When they get there, they're partying. And what's important for me to know, because sometimes people are funny about booze, Eric's in there drinking. Well, pretty much everybody's in there drinking. Is that fair? How much do you think you had?
Not that much. I can still walk.
Okay, so we talking like a beer, 2 beers? Because different people have different tolerance.
I'm Irish, so it's not that hard. 2 beers probably, and about, say, a fourth of a traveler whiskey.
Okay. How much did Mandy have?
She had 1 shot.
She wouldn't drink any beer or nothing. And
She had 1 beer and a shot. That's right.
okay.
Yeah.
And I'm a homicide investigator. I don't worry about dope. But is there dope at this house at this time?
So we don't allow it.
Okay. I know Eric was real concerned about that because he's on rehab and UAs and shit like that. So he said he didn't have any. When you come back to the apartment from this fight, what are the extent of your injuries?
I'm fucked up. My legs hurting, arms hurting. I can't really move my leg too much. I can't move my arm.
Both legs?
Or this one and this arm.
There are no visible injuries on Baldwin's body consistent with being in a fight.
It still hurts. I'm limping, I fall on the ground. I've got blood all over me from them and from me. So.
Okay. What was the conversation like? Because what I'm picturing in my head is you and Mandy leave to go do whatever in the woods, and you come back alone and you're all fucked up. I'm guessing, Mike, what the fuck happened to you?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, everybody was worried, and I just told them the whole thing. And they're like, everybody leaves to go do the thing, and then they come back and they tell me she's naked.
Leave to go do the what?
To go find who did it.
Now when this is going on, who's helping you? I mean,
Feel the stairs.
yeah,
Stephanie.
Stephanie there's and
Oh,
there's some guy,
Rhino.
and
Kyle.
Spencer,
And Kyle.
and a guy with a blue shirt. Who's that guy? Is that the guy who lives next door to the kind of weird guy that lives Jerome?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jerome was there as well. Okay, was he wearing a blue shirt? Because we never found out who the blue shirt guy was.
He was wearing blue shirt.
Okay. So when you get in there, I mean, are we talking about injuries where you need to go to the hospital?
Yeah, and I tell everybody to just shut up and not call anybody. Don't call the ambulance on me or then.
Okay.
But to get me out of there, and as soon as I'm about to call the ambulance for her.
Okay. And who'd you leave with?
You're not going to take him to jail, are you? Just trying to get me out of there, are you?
I don't think so. I don't.
Alicia drove me
Uh,
away from the place.
who was with you? Just you two?
Me and Danny. Daniel.
Does he go by like the code name Shaggy?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Shaggy. Daniel Shaggy. Okay. So it's the 3 of you in the car. And where do you go?
We get down to the Sinclair station down south of Colorado Springs.
The one past Fountain? Okay.
From there I try to walk. Shaggy's probably mostly carrying me most of the way.
Okay.
We get a ride. Partway down,
So, I mean, when they take you down to the gas station there, you guys kind of part ways with Alicia.
Alicia, Eric, yeah.
So Eric's in the car too. Okay. So you guys kind of part ways, and then you guys are on your own heading back down here. Okay. One of the things that's real confusing to me, and nobody seems to be able to answer, and I don't know if you can answer or not. Why is Mandy setting you up?
She's a park girl.
Mhm.
She's friends with everybody in the park.
The one down in
Acacia Park and MVP. The drugs and everything. Drug dealers. Shit like
I mean, is she a doper?
she smokes weed, I know that much.
I mean, she's down in the park using, buying, that kind of stuff.
She smokes weed down at the park, that's all I know.
Any other hard drugs that you know?
No.
What about you?
Wait, I don't do any other hard drugs.
Just the weed?
Drinking and weed, that's about it.
Anybody else in that group involved with hard drugs?
No, because if I caught them, I'd kick the fucking ass.
So you got some problems with hard drugs?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think it's retarded.
Couple of questions, just kind of basic questions since we're interviewing you. Don't take offense to these. Highest level of education you've completed?
I'm a graduate from high school.
Okay. Any college, technical trades, stuff like that? On any medication, doctor prescribed stuff? Any learning disabilities, crap like that? We gotta ask. Okay. Professional skills, what kind of jobs do you do? Do you have jobs? What odd jobs or?
I'm just a traveler.
Okay. So you don't have any like specific training for electrician or no shit like that? Okay. Where's the last place that you worked? Like had an official job?
The Mariner.
The Mariner down there in
Bar.
Manitou. What'd you do there? Bar back? Oh, cooked. They treat you pretty good there, or does it suck?
Suck. The manager's a bitch.
Let me ask you this, point blank. Do you think that the injuries that you might have inflicted to Mandy caused her to be dead? So we're not talking about a situation where she goes down, everybody takes off, and these Nazi guys come back and kill her.
I don't know, but I did not leave her naked.
But you're pretty sure that the injuries that you're causing made her deceased.
Maybe, yeah. Yes.
Because she's in pretty bad shape when you roll out of there. This guy that you stabbed,
Ralph.
yeah, do you think he made it or not?
I think he's still alive. I didn't hurt him that bad.
Where do you think you got him?
I got him good. I got him a couple times down here. Here, I bashed him on the side of the head with the butt of the knife.
Okay.
So
Was he bleeding pretty good?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I don't pay attention to shit like that.
Talking to these detectives from down here, they had mentioned that you made some comments about some mental institutions or hospitals you
I
been
was
in.
lying to them, trying to get off the hook, man. I told them a fake name. Just don't let it deal with that.
Cool. So we don't have no mental health problems.
No.
Okay. I got to check.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat somebody, dude.
Well, that's good because I tell you what, I'm about hungry enough to eat somebody right now.
Okay, sorry, I haven't eaten in like 4 days.
All right. I tell you what, why don't you stand by in here for a minute? I'm gonna go check on some grub and some coffee for you. Is that cool?
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back with you. Cool. All right. Just sit tight.
Okay.
Don't break anything in here, man, because we don't want to be responsible for any other stuff.
charging me. Don't worry about it.
All right, bro. They got you coffee? Good deal.
I'm ready to go back to sleep.
Okay, we'll be done here in a minute. My concern is this guy you're picked up with. What's his name?
Daniel?
How involved is Daniel?
He's not involved at all.
When you say not involved, not involved with the
He ain't
fight.
done nothing.
Okay, so he's partying at the house though, and you guys leave together. When
He's
Alicia,
my best friend.
when Alicia takes you guys,
He's my
down.
best friend, dude.
Okay.
He wouldn't let me go alone.
Okay.
He had nothing to do with anything.
Couple of issues we need to talk about, just to clarify. Okay. You got hooked up on an arrest warrant for murder because this girl's dead. Okay? Alicia's sitting in Spring Creek, which is our juvenile detention facility, for driving you guys down there. Okay? Daniel, he's going too, because he's helping you escape. All right? Back in my office in Colorado, Eric's sitting in there. He's going too. Okay? Because they all helped you get away. And the story, and here's where it all starts. Because I'll be frank with you, all of you guys are kind of questionable people. You know what I mean? You're not upstanding business people.
So fuck it.
So here's what's happening. I want you to be aware of this because I don't want you to get jammed up any more than you are. The problem that we have is everybody's starting to tell stories because they want to get out of trouble. We've got you. I mean, you sat here and told us. We've got you. But these people are trying to make their lives better by putting more and more stuff on you. Okay? Anything that you can tell me about your past will help us because here's where we're at.
What are they saying about me? If it's about me, I want to hear it.
I'm going to break it down for you because I think that's only fair. You're willing to sit down and talk to us. It's only fair that you know what's going on. The two possible positions for you to be in right now on this girl being killed, all right, is a guy who got wrapped up in, well, and let me start by saying this. The Nazi shit, that's bullshit. This fight, that's bullshit. I've confirmed that, okay? What we've got in here, and what I see you having trouble with, is they're making you out to be a sexual predator that raped this girl, stripped off all of her clothes, and did some fucking crazy shit. And what I see happening is a fight between you and her. She gets pushed down, smashes her head, now she's dead.
The detective has called Baldwin out on his story about the ambush, but he is still allowing Baldwin to say that this was unintentional. The injuries sustained by Hansen were extreme and horrific, and there is no possibility that they were accidental.
Now, why that's important to you is if we're talking an accidental thing where she dies as a result of something like that, that's totally different than a sexual predator. You see what I'm saying? So we got sexual predator over here, 4 people. He's a sexual fucking freak. And we've got you over here talking about 50 Nazis jumping out of the trees. And I think the third possibility is you right here. We get into some kind of argument. She gets pushed down because she's hitting on you. You have the scars to prove it. And she bumps her head and now she's dead. Which of these 3 do we need to go with? Because I tell you what, I don't buy the Nazi stuff. The sexual predator stuff, I don't know you. I got 4 people telling me that you're a sexual freak. You guys getting into an argument, her getting knocked down and bumping her head, that's pretty logical to me. So which are we dealing with here? Because what I see is a jury looking at you with 50 Nazis jumping out of the fucking woods, you're gonna fry. Sexual predator, people don't like those either. Argument between a couple, somebody getting rough, getting pushed down, somebody getting cut up. What are we talking about? Okay. What were you guys arguing about?
I was just saying, basically, that we were just having. I was having one of those days. Because earlier that day, I got arrested for something I did not do.
This thing is freezing my ass off. Sorry.
I got arrested at Manitou Springs for something I didn't do. This guy going around calling himself David.
Mhm.
And
Is this the domestic violence thing where they took pictures of you and hooked you up and then let you go? Okay.
But I was having a bad day. I was drinking. And I was just pissed off, angry. I started yelling at her. She said, "Don't start yelling at me. It's okay." I'm like, ah.
So
it just
are
started.
you guys dating or are you just kind of hanging out? Okay. So you walk up in the woods. When you're walking up to the woods, is this, hey, is this one of those, let's get away from these guys because we need to talk? Or is it, hey, let's get away.
Let's get away from these guys. It's getting annoying.
Okay. So you go up into the woods over there and you're talking. What are you talking about?
We were just talking about how my day went. And she's like, And then I start yelling and screaming and hollering.
Because you're pissed off about these
Well,
cops
that's
basically
everything.
fucking with you.
Yeah, and she's just, calm down, it's okay. I'm like, it's not fucking okay. And she's like, starts out, you think everything's just a big bad fucking day. You think everything's a bad fucking deal. I'm like, what the fuck do you know? And she goes off from there. She's like, what the fuck do I know? What the fuck do I know?
She got temper problems? She got bad temper.
Everyone who knew Hanson described her as upbeat and cheerful. None of them mentioned her having any anger-related issues.
Is it worse when she's drinking? So we're talking about a beer and a shot or more than that?
Beer and probably, I'd say actually about 4 or 5 shots.
Okay.
Same day with me, I had a lot that day.
Well, I can understand your day being the way it was. You know, there's not too many guys running around with a mohawk.
Yeah,
And they confuse, well,
yes, there is.
you're probably, well, in that area. That's not my usual area. So that in that area or Acacia Park, I can see it. But being mistaken for it's bullshit. So you guys are arguing. At what point does it get physical?
And and after her temper flares, she just starts banging on my chest and shit and scratching me.
Do you have scratches on your chest? Is that the only one, or is there more?
And,
Did they take pictures of you when you got here?
all I took was this and that.
Sorry about that. So we don't have pictures of this stuff. Okay.
Oh,
So she starts banging on your chest and she's scratching you and stuff. And then what happens?
I just kind of like grab her arms. Like, I don't shake her, I just stop. Kid, stop, kid. It's just, he keeps going and scratching. That's where I got this from. This one.
So I'm guessing that you're grabbing her arms in an attempt to get her to stop beating on you, not an attempt to cause her physical harm. Okay. What happens after that?
She like pulls away and she just cracks her head.
When she falls, is it face first or on her back?
It's more or less kind of like space side. Kind of like this.
Okay.
All this here.
Now, is she knocked out from this, or? Okay, so she's not conscious.
Breathing a little bit.
Okay, but she's eyes not open. She's bleeding pretty good. And you check on her, or what do you do?
I was just scared.
Is that when you go back to the apartment? Now, when we find the body, she has no clothes on. Is it possible that these friends who are trying to label you as a sexual fucking predator now went back up there and took these clothes off? Would they be trying to set you
They
up?
went up there.
Do you think they'd be trying to set you up for that? What do they gain by setting you up?
Me either way. Me not there.
I mean, was there tension in the group?
Yeah. There was a lot of tension between everybody.
So they're looking to get you out of the group.
They're always ditching me places and
So, I just want to go over this so I'm clear. At the party, you're having a bad day, just kind of partying and stuff. Do you call her Sparkle? What do you call her?
baby girl.
Baby girl. You guys go into the bathroom,
Have sex.
have some sex.
Don't get to come at all.
The reason why we want to focus on that, just because when you're having sex and you don't come, sometimes some stuff comes out. So we want to know if the DNA in there is going to be yours. It probably is. I mean, she faithful. I mean, she
Very faithful.
okay. So we don't have to worry about her kind of cheating or hoochie mama or nothing like that. All right. So the DNA we find in there is probably going to be you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. How long are you in the bathroom?
25, 30 minutes.
And how long after that do you guys leave from the party?
And it takes us, well, we go straight from the bathroom to just leave it.
Okay. What's she wearing when you guys leave?
Black pants, her star shoes. Yeah, stars in the fucking toe.
Oh, okay.
She's got a black shirt, like a tank top with frilly up on the top here.
Okay.
White bra, black usually wear blue jeans, butt flaps, chains, combat boots, a leather jacket.
Now, when you come back from this happening, some of the people said you didn't have any shirt on. Some people said you had a shirt on. Did you have a shirt on?
So
Okay. What happened to your shirt?
I didn't wear one.
Okay, so just a jacket. Okay. Is there any chance? Because the kind of thing that's confusing is her being naked. Don't know if that happened before she got hurt.
Hansen was unclothed after her death. At his trial, Baldwin will claim that he did not recall that time period.
Or after she got hurt. Do you have any temper problems?
I used to have a really bad temper.
Would it be something you'd classify as a rage?
No.
Okay. Did you ever talk to anybody about that, counselors, things like that?
Didn't feel like I needed to. I just punched a wall or something. Never punched it.
Ever have feelings of being out of control, crap like that? Okay. So we're not dealing with the sexual predator part. I'm fair in saying that. We're not dealing with 50 Nazis jumping out of a tree. I'm fair in saying that. Okay, so is there any knife in this whole equation anymore? So when they autopsy her, we should have injuries to the head from while she falls down.
And whatever, if anything else is caused afterward by someone else.
Okay. Do you think it's possible someone else went up there and messed with the body?
Because they were gone for a while.
Who left with the body?
Everybody.
So, I mean, you weren't at the apartment by yourself. Did you go back with them?
No, I didn't go back to the body. No.
Okay.
Uh-uh.
Did you stay at the apartment by yourself?
I stayed at the apartment with Rhino, Steffi, Juanita, and Frankie, Kyle stays there. The rest of them just head out, go either which way, but most of them go towards the body.
When they go, so what I'm thinking is this Nazi story. I mean, I think what happened was you were kind of freaked out by her being hurt, came back and kind of told them a Nazi story. Is that correct? And they go out looking to make sure she's okay, and some of them go out looking for these Nazis. Okay. Why the story?
Because I don't. You think about it, man. If I didn't give them that, they'd have even more probable cause to get rid of me.
Mhm.
They'd use it even more. They'd probably say I pushed her around and hit her and banged her head on the rock a couple times, which they probably say.
Okay.
Along with whatever else happened.
And so they help you to get away. Alicia, Eric, and Shaggy.
Shaggy stays with me.
Shaggy's real name. The only way to protect him is to be truthful with me on him, because I know that you guys gave some false names down there.
His real name is Benjamin Stokes.
I appreciate you being honest with me, because, like I said, if he's not involved in this, I don't want to see him go down, because he's willing to travel across the state with his buddy when his buddy's in trouble. Okay? Now, the part that we have to get past on this, and I'm glad we came clean with the Nazi stuff, and I'm glad we came clean with this sexual predator stuff. The part we need to come clean and fix is you causing the damage to Sparkles. Okay? And sitting in here and talking to you, and the response to questions, different questions, and what's going on. And I mean, to be honest with you, I can see it in your face how you felt about this girl. And I know that you're not a stupid kid. All right? A lot of cops look at a guy that's got a haircut and dresses like you and thinks that you're a fucking idiot. All right? I know better. Because it wasn't that long ago that I was your age. Didn't have a haircut like that, but I wasn't your age. All right? You're not a stupid kid. You told these guys when you come back that you had killed her. And I think that these guys got scared because they didn't want to be around you because they knew the cops were going to come down on this murder thing. So they help you to get down to the truck stop. And your buddy is stand up enough to continue on with you. Now that tells me two things. Number one, either your buddy's a fucking idiot, and I don't think that's true. Or number two, he's a stand-up guy standing up for you. If he's willing to stand up for you, and these people are willing to stand up for you after you just killed somebody, I think that most of the time you're a stand-up guy. If they're willing to do that. I have some buddies, if they came to me and said, hey, I just fucking killed somebody, I don't want nothing to do with them. And then there's friends of mine who have proven to me that they are stand-up guys. They said, hey, I just killed somebody. All right, what do we need to do? Because I got your back. And it sounds like that these people had your back. So I'm thinking that you're probably a stand-up guy 99.9% of the time.
It takes training for a detective to be able to say such things with a straight face. Many cannot force themselves to sound so sympathetic to a suspect after they have seen what happened to the victim.
Everybody's made mistakes. You got a criminal history, you smoke dope, you buy alcohol for kids you shouldn't. Everybody fucks up. But 99.9% of the time, you're a stand-up guy. And the other thing I see in talking to you, and talking to the people who knew you, who know you and knew her, is that there's some pretty strong feelings between you guys. I don't think that this was just a thing, I'm seeing her every once in a while, it's a booty call, I'm fucking her every once in a while. I don't think that's what we're talking about, is it? I think that there's some feelings between them. And you being a stand-up guy 99.9% of the time, you don't get into relationships that are casual just to get some ass. All right? What we need to talk about right now is that other 0.1% of the time. About how you flew off the handle and hurt this girl. And I want to understand how a guy who is 99.9% of the time stand up flies into that rage and kills somebody that he loves. It's important because her family needs to know what's in your heart. And the DA needs to know what's in your heart. And I think what's in your heart is her love and love for her. But you caused some serious injury to this girl. For that split second, your anger got out of control and you killed her. All right? That's what I want to make sure that we settle here today, because I need to know what kind of guy you are when I talk to the DA. You know, I don't want to go to the DA and say this is a fucking punk who goes into the woods, possibly rapes and kills a girl, leaves her naked with her head bashed in. I want to be able to say, this is a guy who was very much in love with this girl, had a bad day. 99.9% of the time he's a stand-up guy. People are willing to stand up for him, but this is that 0.1% time when his anger got out of control. And I want to be able to believe that there's remorse, because remorse is very important to the DA.
Yes, sir.
I know you do. I see it in your face. I can look into your eyes and hear responses to things that you don't ever say. Part of you healing for what happened is telling me about these injuries that you got and how they came about, and it helping me to understand the rage that was inside of you for that split second that caused you to kill her. Because we know it wasn't her falling on the rock. So tell me about how you feel about her and what happened. Because I want to understand that.
I love her.
Are you ever going to forget this girl? Let's not let the memory that you have of her be of that split second of rage. Let you and I get that split second of rage where you raised your hand and put that hurt on her. Let's get that out so it's not in your heart anymore. And you can remember the good stuff.
She was going off.
like I said, I grabbed her by arms. That's where all that comes from. I was just like trying to stop her. It wasn't by her arms, it was by her shoulders. I just wanted her to.
You wanted her to quit yelling at you, right? And she wouldn't. She kept yelling at you. And you grabbed onto her to get her attention so that she'd stop yelling at you. And it made her yell louder. Is that correct? Some of the neighbors heard some of that. The yelling and stuff. So how did you make her stop yelling? How long did you strangle her for?
She stopped moving. Dropped her and she hit her head. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
It's that split second of rage. That's not the picture of how you feel about her. That was a mistake that you made. So you strangled her until she stopped moving. Did you check her breathing? Was she breathing at that time? And that's the point where you realized this has gone way too far.
Tried to bring her back.
What did you do to try and bring her back? How long did you try CPR for? It seems like forever when it's somebody you love. I understand. I've lost somebody that way. One important question I have to ask you, because of the guys that work the scene. What was her body position when you left?
When I left, she was just. Her arms were kind of like off to the side like that. And she was laying on her back.
Okay. Now,
Off her clothes and everything, I'm just keeping it. I don't know what the hell happened.
okay. Well, and the only thing I can say to that makes any sense is this bad thing happened. And because of how tight you were with your friends, them being willing to stand up for you, I would imagine it would be hard for you to say, yeah, I just fucking strangled the woman I love. So that's where the Nazi story comes from. Does that mean, am I off track on that?
I just still did not take her clothes off.
Okay. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about,
Yeah.
You're not going to go back and say, hey, guess what I just did? You know what I'm saying? I don't have an explanation for how those clothes came off. The two scenarios that I can figure on how the clothes came off, because when we found her, she was naked. The two scenarios I see is number one, she was naked when it happened. Maybe you guys were doing stuff and then this whole fight kicked off. The other scenario I can see happening is with the story about these Nazis. Maybe these clothes were taken off to make it look like some stranger jumped out of the bush or that these Nazis had done it. I mean, I've worked some gang stuff, mainly Asian gangs, but I've done some neo-Nazi stuff. It's not uncommon for neo-Nazis when they punish somebody to kill them and strip them naked and do things to their body. It's not uncommon. That would fit in with you getting jumped, you getting out of there, them coming back and taking retribution on her. That fits. To pull you away from being a freak weirdo that did mean things to her, I can totally see you being scared and coming into the Nazi stuff. You've been in the gang before, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And one of their techniques is stripping people down to degrade grade down, and that takes it away from you doing this horrible thing. I mean, I think that's possible, but I don't know. I wasn't there. As far as these guys taking the clothes off, doesn't make any sense because they're a stand-up guy for you, and they liked her. So, I mean, I could see that scenario playing out. Also, another thing that the neo-Nazis do, and I'm sure you're aware of, is they do sexual things to the body after the person's deceased, leave it in positions that are provocative, things like that. Now, with your background in the neo-Nazi thing, I can totally see with the Nazis the story of the Nazis jumping you. You leave it, them being left to their style of punishment, this kind of a thing occurring with the clothes being off and weird sexual stuff appearing to be done to this person. I can see that scenario playing out. Because what I can't understand.
Baldwin still refuses to admit to the things he did to Hansen after her death. It will not keep him out of prison, but he may hope to avoid additional charges.
Looking into your face and seeing your concern for this girl and your love for this girl, I can't see you leaving her body in that condition without it being meant to not affect your feelings for her because of how strong you felt for her, because how you cared for her, and you being responsible for her death. I don't think you would leave her body in that condition to be remembered by. I don't see that. However,
And yet my friends also knew about my neo-Nazi past. I knew it well. Okay? And mind you, some of them people weren't very loyal to me anyway.
I know. I mean, I talk to these people, I know. But I know that the clothes were taken off, and I know they didn't do it. So we're left with you or some stranger coming down the road. And I'm trying to understand. How this, what the.
I'm not willing to take responsibility for that because I did not do it.
Tell me who could have done it.
Any of the 3 or 4 who did not like me. Any of the 3 or 4 who went up there to go check on that.
I want to get you, my goal has been, when we present this case, we present it with you and not what people say about you and not what people infer from your history, your appearance, things like that. Because I think that's fair. I think it's fair that the DA or the jury or us know that your feelings for her are legit, that this isn't a booty call situation, and that there's remorse in you for what happened. The taking off of the clothes and the positioning, I'm here to tell you, it's one of 2 things. That you have some sexual issues in your head that make you a freak, or that it was done as part of this Nazi ploy to cover up your involvement in her death. Those are the 2 possibilities I see. And I really don't see you fitting into the freaky sexual shit based on what you've told me about your feelings for her. Now I can see you going into this rage. And at that moment you snap. And then after that, now you're faced with, I'm not angry anymore. I'm back in control. I'm back in that 99.9% of the time of who I really am. But now I've got this issue. And I think that's where we have the issue with the clothes. I need to understand why. Was it part of the neo-Nazi thing? The removing of the clothes? I really don't believe you fit into the sexual freak category. And sitting here and talking to you and looking into your eyes, especially when we talk about your feelings for her. The only thing that seems logical is this neo-Nazi thing. We both know that's the way of the punishment. Is that what we're talking about? Okay. Where did you put the clothes? Kind of up and back behind. Where she was at.
Where she was at, you just go, there's a big boulder and it's got a little space under it.
Did you take any of the clothes with you or anywhere else?
No.
Did you get any blood or anything on your clothes? What was the position of her body when you left? Curved.
Kind of like a seafoam. She was on her side.
Like kind of balled up?
No, she was more or less on her back and her legs were
Off to the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to go back to my bed.
Okay. One more issue I need to clear up. It may be related to you, it may not. Okay. And you know where we're headed.
Right.
We're going to talk about the stick. Now, like we said before, the whole neo-Nazi thing, because I don't see any reason for you to be doing that kind of stuff with her body with a stick. So is that part of this undressing and the neo-Nazi thing as well? Or is this the sick sexual predator shit? Was the stick somewhere laying around there, or? Okay. Can I just tell you something? Looking into your eyes, there's no doubt in my mind that your feelings about her were legitimate, and that the things that you did were on the spur of the moment after that second where you snapped. And that's the story that I want to convey to people. Is that fair? Or, okay. What I'd like to do is give you a pad and a pen and have you write about, because it's going to sound better in your words. God forbid something happens to me. Okay. Pretty tired, me too.
Tired, I haven't eaten. I'm fucking tired.
I'm gonna see about getting you a sandwich before you go to bed, okay?
I want to go to bed first.
Okay.
I'm tired.
I tell you what, since this isn't my house, I'm not from here, let me go check with those guys, and we'll get you back over there to get some sleep. Anything I can do for you for right now. Can I just tell you something, man to man? I appreciate you being honest with me. Because I think that's the right story. And I think these lies are bullshit. And that I thought that from the beginning. That's why I was in here talking with you. And I appreciate you being honest with me. And based on what we talk about, I think that's going to help her family get past what happened. Fair enough? All right, sit tight, buddy.
A stick roughly 1 inch in diameter was shoved down Hansen's throat with so much force that it nearly dislodged her tongue. In a plea deal, Michael Baldwin avoided the death penalty by lethal injection in exchange for pleading guilty to first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Thank you for watching. Check out my Patreon link in the description below and drop a like on this video. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. I'm always curious to read what you thought of the case.